Oh yeah, welcome back to part 4 of the Beat Saber custom song tutorials. In this one, we're going to be going through the actual placement of notes themselves. So we're back in our little song here. Yeah, so the placement of notes themselves, how to do different ones, deleting, editing, things like that, and navigating. Now for this, I actually am going to have to move over to here. I have to flip myself. Hello. My shirt is backwards. Amazing. Exactly what. Cool. What we need to do, we've got our grid lining up. Oh. We need to show you the different notes. So we've got the red, we've got the blue. Now, if you have a numpad, which I do not have on my keyboard on the right side, and I believe Akaiwa, which is the developer of Editsaber, will be implementing some easier controls soon. But the only way at this point, other than a numpad, to change the type of note, when I say type, I don't mean the red, blue, I mean the arrow, like this, is to be holding shift on your keyboard and then using the scroll wheel, right? It'll go through the 4 cardinal direct, or up, down, left, right, and then go through the 4 corners. So up, left, up, right, down, left, down, right, and then a dot, which, if you haven't played the game, is a note which you can hit from any angle. Just to let you know, you can actually use this editor even if you don't own Beat Saber. So if you like the idea of making songs and getting streamers or things to play them, then hey, that's something you can definitely do. But yeah, now to place them, you simply left click. You can click over here to change between the color, but I prefer to click 1 and 2 on the keyboard. You can put them out. 5, or just tapping the trash can, is the delete. Bam, something like that. Now, if you put a note out and, I don't know, you want to change it, move it, you can hold Alt on your keyboard and then use left click to move that around and then let go of the left click. You can also even do things like move them out here and move them up here. So, you know, I can grab this one. You just got to get the camera in the right view and do what you want. It's pretty powerful in something that's like only a week old. And arguably better than the dev's first party editor. Anyway, the next issue that we have, well, not issue, but next way to navigate this is when I'm using my scroll wheel or I'm placing these notes out, you notice that it flicks between these thick lines, but you want to get notes into these in-between bits, because if we play the song, what I'd be wanting to do there is obviously a hit on the kick drum, but also with the yeah, like the vocals, the do, yeah, or whatever the hell they're saying. Whoa, whatever it is, right? What we need to do is, in the bottom left here, and this is why I moved my camera, it says cursor precision 1/1. If we hold control, there's 2 ways to do this. You can either change the cursor precision in here, or got it right here, but the much easier way is holding control and using your scroll wheel. See, now it says 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 8, 16, and I don't think you actually set a limit to that, but the most you would probably ever go to is 8s. Until you get into some advanced stuff. Even like Through the Fire and Flames, I only used 8th notes as a maximum, and even then I probably only used like that song has 2,800 notes I put in, and I used 5 or 6 8th notes. Most of the time you'll be switching through 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 4. Or chord notes. So what you'll notice is we're doing this. If we go to 1/2, it means I can then hit this middle line as well. If I then go to 1/4, I can then hit every note there is in here, right? Now, we need to, this is why the tick is useful. So we know this is the first kick, and then we need to find that wall. So let's just try the middle bit and see if it lines up. Yeah, it was. If I actually thought it was going to be that, but now we hear it go tick, 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 which, although it goes in time, of course it'll go in time because we line the grid properly, isn't what we're wanting in regards to charting. We want it to be for things that we're cutting. Cool. Now these notes I'm putting on the right here are not permanent. These are purely just placements. Now this cursor precision. between 1 and 1. Also changes how far the grid moves when you use your scroll wheel. So at the moment it's 1, 1, so it changes between the whole numbers. If I bring it down to 1, 4, you can see when I scroll and I go between every single line. Eighths will go between the lines, and you can imagine sixteenths and all that going real far down. So let's go to quarters. And let's start playing some notes. Now we know red is on the left and we know blue is on the right, so let's create something real simple. We're going to go a red left here. Now I know that the bass drum is on every whole like thick line. So if I keep my cursor position at 1, 1, every time I scroll just once, I know that these notes are going to be in time with the bass drum. Now this is, I guess, a little trick of the editor as well. You're like, okay, well now we got to put these, ones in. So we would use control and scroll wheel to go to half. We go to the halfway point and let's put a blue one, right? And then it's like, okay, I got to scroll twice to get to the next one. But this is a neat little trick is the cursor position, when you change it to between these and you scroll the grid equaling that, you can actually jump like a whole amount, like a 1, 1 from a halfway point. What I mean by that is if I go down to half like this and align the grid so it's between, you know, these two big lines here. So now it's in the middle point. And I'm now going to hit control and scroll to make it go back to 1, 1. You'll notice that the grid is still sitting at the halfway point. Because now what it means is from this point, if I now scroll just once, I've not jumped to the 1 or 2, I've jumped a whole bar between the 2 and 3, a hole between the 3 and 4. And this is, I guess, one of those little tricks that once you get used to it, it makes charting a lot easier. So now I can just scroll once every time and just place these blue ones out. Simple as that. We want to get these, remember these red ones down here were just to line things up, so we're going to get rid of those. And we're then going to position ourselves pretty much in just behind the grid, like this, like we're playing the song, and we tap play. Simple. Oh, so we've got the wall on the blue and the bass drum on the red. Simple shit, right? And see what I mean by when we've aligned the grid in the previous video, it makes things a lot easier. To the point of literally like when you're aligned like this, you can practically put any notes anywhere and it'll sound good because it's in time. And this is more like drum related. So what I mean by that is if right here, I put a note on this very first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, come back and play it, it'll go in time. It's not what I'm going to do, but you'll hear that it sounds like it belongs there. Hear that? See how it sounded like it was properly in time? Let's put just a few more here. I can put any blue notes on any line, even red, there's no different sounds. I can literally put notes anywhere. And you can hear that it's all entirely in time. So if you're a novice charter, I mean, technically we all are, but some of us have played a lot of rhythm games in our past, and I feel like that's probably where our skill levels come from. If you're a novice charter, even if you put a note a little bit out of sync with the song itself, like where maybe not exactly where you wanted it, or putting some additional notes in that don't technically need to be there, at a minimum, it will at least be in time with the song. And ultimately, this is what I've always had problems with stuff like Audio Shield and to an extent custom charts and soundboxing and custom charts in just about any rhythm game itself, in that when things are out of time by even a quarter or an eighth or just a little bit out of sync with the BPM itself, it really wrecks a flow of a song. It honestly does. Just to show you a bit more of how aligning the grid is extremely important, let's literally go out here. And I'm literally just going to scroll and literally put just random notes. And you will hear that although it doesn't really make much sense on where the notes are and how it's working, you will hear that at a minimum, it will be going in time with the song, unless I've just gone to a part that is about to drop here. Yeah, there was a couple of BPM changes in the middle there, so it wasn't the best example, but you can actually hear by the end of it that it started, like it's not mixing with it. Oh, they're actually between the beats. Oh no, wait, no, what am I talking about? It does line up. There was no BPM change. It's just because they're not on every half beat that it sounds foreign. But as I said, you're not going to piss someone off for at least not being in time. Da, 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 da. Anyway, there's no undo button, unfortunately, so I can't just like quick erase them. I'm just going to use the delete key here. By the way, this delete key literally works like at any distance, so be careful if you're trying to delete something like, you know, like in this type of view, because if you like tap between the notes, sometimes, and it's happened before, I'll end up deleting something like all the way in the fucking end. So just be careful on that. Yeah, so that is basic charting. Well, actually, let's just do to the first drop on, let's say, in how I would do it. I'm just going to go quiet here for a sec and just show you what it looks like to be charting, and I guess how I would chart this. Yeah, you'll hear me make noises like that all the time. I believe he's bringing a copy paste feature into the editor at some point soon, which is a godsend. I've just realized a small issue with the editor, a bug fix that I will show the developer. I've done a lot of those with the Through the Fire and Flames. That make sure to save all the time, by the way. That start offset that we've applied in the video. I've just noticed when you click play from the 0, you can see it starts immediately at 1 where we want it. That's fine, but it also happens out here. So if I want to test like number 21, I would usually come to 20 tap play, but then it's jumping too far. So I'll let him know that. Hopefully it's gone soon. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 in a single bar. To see the bottom where it says 15 and 16, it starts at 15, 15, 16, and we've got 8 notes. So that's where we split it into an eighth. So there's far too many here. So if we go the cursor precision, bring it down to an eighth, go up to an eighth, and go red, and then blue, then red, then blue, then red, then blue. No, there's not eight notes, there are 6 notes. So we're going on triplet level. It sounds like there's 8. Oh, there was 8. Now, I don't believe he put support in for triplets, but we can get it as close as we can. So if we're breaking up a single bar into 6 notes, that's one every 15th of the way through, 15% of the way through the bar. So we can go down to 16ths. I know I was saying before that we never use that, but it is what we got here. So we go down to 16ths. We go red, and we would be going 1, 2, 3, I think. 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. That right? So they sound a bit. Because this is 16ths, not 15ths, you can hear that they're a little bit out because it slowly loses 1 note over time. So, I mean, okay, this is not something I ever would tell you to do in any form, but I'm just doing it on an anal type of thing. Like I really want it working exactly perfectly. Is where I'm going to be going down to. .32s. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. There we go. Honestly, that's just me being very anal about it all. Now, we're at a 32 precision here, so we can get lost very quickly. The best way to line yourself back up, cursor precision all the way back to 1, and then go right back to the beginning. It'll sit flat against the 0, and then we are good to roll. Get away. Okay. Now we could continue the drums here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it sounds like they're on every quarter. So if I just put a quarter note in, it should line up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom, doom, doom, doom. One note gap maybe. One dun 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 dun. And then it repeats, I think. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. I actually think they're a little bit late. Let me just check. No, it's close enough. Hope we're all learning something. Now, these are the lineups, so they're on quarters, and so now I'd chart that, so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5th and the 8th notes are the highest. If we go back and forward, starting with the right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So blue high and then red high. So again, these aren't tips or anything. This is just how I would chart things, the detail. Otherwise, I don't see the point. Oh, I'm not wanting that. 6, 7, 8. Let's start it off a bit simpler. Boom, 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 boom. So it starts middle. Dun, 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 dun. Starting with the right note. Now, when putting things out, always make sure to go on the bottom for the majority of it. Only go up when you'll try. Well, I find that if you go up, you should be using more the outside than anything, like what I've just put there. Because anything pretty much in these 4 squares here just blocks the player's view, and it can be rather frustrating. I mean, you can use it to, you know, however you like, but I don't fun mechanic in doing that. Starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, blue, won't we? 1, 2, that's right, I went 1, 2, factory. So I go on like the chord level, so it goes middle, middle, down, middle, up. Oh yeah, middle. Dun, dun, dun. We don't have 4 layers, we only got 3, so I've put 2 in the middle here. Hopefully you can see that like that. Yeah, middle, down, middle, middle, up, down, middle, up. Seems like it suits the song. Now, the problem I see immediately with this is these blues like this are fine. Like when you're playing in Beat Saber, if you can tell when there's notes behind notes. You can't tell what they are. It's always fair to be going down then up, but make sure that it's on the same level. So never go like a middle and then a bottom, which is exactly what's happened here. So close. Unless you've given unless it's literally like a quarter notes right behind each other where you can see it. This kind of gap that I've got there, no one can see. And so even though it's great to be going middle down, middle, middle up, like that to go in thing with the chords. It just doesn't suit the flow of the game. And so I would be moving this down. That way it clears that view. Now we can get rid of our markers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
3.
I wish it was a copy. One, two, three, four. Dun, dun, dun. Something like this one. Perfect. That faces a little bit of a challenge. So because this is 8th notes and we're starting on blue, we end this session of 8 notes on a red as we naturally would. But the next one is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then when we're starting again, because that 7th note means we finish on the blue. And so the reason this is perfect is we're going to now obviously repeat this bit back here, but our hand that's next to play is red. So we're going to essentially mirror this. So the red is the higher note. It just gives it a little bit more challenge. The rest of this video is literally just going to be me making up until the drop. If you see us in the next video, which is going to be about more advanced things in like thoughts about, then do stay around for that. But in this case, as I said, if you just want to see what it's, so we're going to do all the way up to the drop, which is. That's what we're going to do up until 67. We're not far in.
Factory.
Listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives. Listen up, here's the story about a little guy.
I just had an idea that I'm going to be charting this, where in all the drop it's nothing but blue saber.
Everything he sees is just blue, like him inside and out. About a little guy that lives. Listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in the
Blue.
and all day in the blue world and all day and all night and everything he sees is just him inside and outside. House with the blue, with the blue house with the blue little window and a blue window and a blue Chord rack and everything is blue. Blue little window and a blue Chord rack and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around 'cause he ain't got nobody to listen. I'm blue out.
I'm only going to be using nothing but blue notes. Huh.
NY Factory.
And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with the blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. 'Cause he ain't got nobody to listen.
I know what to do.
And everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house. Outside, blue his house. And outside, blue his house with the blue. Inside and outside, blue his house with the blue. House with the blue his house with the blue. House with and outside, blue his house with the blue little window. His house with blue his house with the blue.
Cool. That's what we've got so far. Let's play that once through.
NY Factory.
So you can obviously see that they're blue here. Every time he says blue, the lyric, it's in the blue. That's all these are. Blue. And the blue. I'm thinking for the chorus, I'm just going to use literally nothing but the blue saber. I think that would be super fucking cool and unique. Anyway, thank you for following us here. Next, we are going to go through some advanced thoughts plus more charting of it. After that, we then got some going into lighting basics with a bit of charting, some lighting advanced charting, and then we will finish the song. All right. See you next time.